Before we start tonight's AEW Dynamite review, right here on the Big Fight Field channel, I would just like to address, with all the releases today in the WWE from wrestlers, producers, referees, I will not be talking about that in this video. It's a lot of detail to talk about, so I'm going to make that into a separate video tomorrow right here on the Big Fight Fuel channel, and we're going to go over everything that happened today with the releases and who else. If WWE releases any more stars tomorrow, we'll go over that as well. Maybe I can try to get Eddie Mullins on the channel and get him to talk about it as well. I know he's very upset over the situation and did not want to watch any wrestling tonight, as I know a lot of people did not want to watch any wrestling tonight after what happened. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about all of that on the channel, and that leads me, there's going to be no NXT review this week. I have no interest in watching NXT this week. Yes, I heard that Finn Balor challenged Velveteen Dream to a match next week, which should be awesome. Timothy Thatcher debuted and teamed up with Matt Riddle to face the Undisputed Era. We saw the Cruiserweight Championship tournament begin, and Killer Cross attacked Tommaso Ciampa. That's awesome. But after the current state that WWE is in right now and who could be getting released next, I have no interest in watching NXT this week. So I will not be doing a review for NXT. But we're here to talk about AEW Dynamite tonight. I thought this was a fine show for what it was. We're going to go over the main event. Of course, a very controversial main event. My thoughts on the main event, Jon Moxley versus Jake Hager for the AEW World Championship. But before we start this review, make sure you guys go check out my Monday Night Raw review from this past week on the Big Fight Fuel channel, and the Dark Side of the Ring review I did last night, talking about Jimmy Superfly Snuka. So make sure you guys go check those out. And without further ado, let's kick off the AEW Dynamite review. We started off with Colt Cabana versus Lance Archer, with, of course, Lance Archer getting the victory with the blackout and moving on to the semifinals of the TNT Championship Tournament. This was an okay match at best, in my opinion. Colt Cabana gave Archer his first real test. He got offensive moves in on him, elbows, punches. He did the thing where he jumps off the top rope, he misses, and then he jumps on him again. He went for his finisher, or he went for something, and Archer shoulder tackled him almost outside of the ring, and deep clotheslines, and then gave him a blackout, and Lance Archer moved on to the semifinals. This was an okay match for what it was. This was Lance Archer's first real test, and we'll see who Lance Archer faces, either Dustin Rhodes or Kip Sabian. That match is happening next week. I gotta point out one thing before I talk about the next match. Taz. They had Taz analyzing the chokehold that Jake Hager does to pass out his opponents, and the way he's got the hold in, and it was absolutely beautiful the way they had him analyze the hold and how tight it is and all that stuff. I love what they did with this, and I want to see maybe more of Taz breaking down wrestlers' maneuvers. I absolutely loved it. It was fresh, and things like that make AEW stand out to everybody, in my opinion. We got Cassandra Golden versus Britt Baker. You could have blinked once and the match was over. Britt Baker won. That's all I'm going to say about it. We got Pineapple Pete, Shug D versus Sammy Kivar. Now we had Chris Jericho on commentary tonight again, and he was top notch, like he is. He is a living legend. I'd say once again, Chris Jericho is the best part of tonight's Dynamite. His commentary on Dynamite brings smiles to people's faces legitimately. He called him Sug D, Shug D, Sagud D, Scooge D, and then he called him Shug Knight. I don't know why, but he called this Pineapple Pete Shug Knight. I got a laugh out of that. This match was okay. This was an okay match. Shug D has charisma. He's got a lot of charisma. He's decent in the ring. He looked impressive. Sammy Guevara was, of course, going to get this win and to get momentum for his match with Darby Allin in the tournament. So he hits him with his finisher. When he's got him wrapped up on his shoulders, knee to the face, 1, 2, 3. And then Guevara gets on the microphone. He says, "That was light work. And I'm going to make an example right now what I'm going to do to Darby Allin next week in the TNT Championship Tournament." Guevara goes to attack Pineapple Pete. Darby Allin comes out to make the save, and Guevara goes running off. This match was okay for what it was. This was to get Sammy some momentum against Darby Allin, but Sammy and Darby Allin, with the amount of time they got at Revolution, they had a great match, and I'm really hoping they have a great match next week on Dynamite, and I think those guys are going to kill it. We then saw Kip Sabian versus Chuck Taylor. Probably the best match of the night. The best match of the night, in my opinion. And Chris Jericho was very good on commentary in this one. He was very good in this match. So the best friends were making their entrance, and he said, "I don't like this Orange Cassidy dude. He's bothering me a lot. I don't like his look, and I don't like his attitude." And then he goes to talk about how the best friends have been hot lately, and they got a win over Kenny Omega last week, so that could put them in a line for an AEW Tag Team title match against Pumpkinhead Omega and Tipsy and Tennessee Hangman. I laughed so hard. I literally laughed so hard over that. That was pure gold. So we saw Kip Sabian versus Chuck Taylor. Again, this was a very good match. This was probably the best match of the night. Chuck Taylor got some nice offense. Kip Sabian, I've said this from the beginning since AEW has started, but Kip Sabian is one of the most underrated wrestlers that they have. I saw this guy's match at Double or Nothing with Sammy Guevara, and I clicked with him immediately. He is very, very underrated, and he will be down the line. I think he will be in the chase for the TNT Championship. But now is not his time. Maybe down the line when he gets more TV time, more character development, because we don't really know what his character is. But once he gets more character, I feel like Kip Sabian could be something on AEW television, which I love. But Jimmy Havoc got involved in this match. At first, Penelope Ford was getting up on the apron, facing Chucky T. She took her coat off, and I think she slapped Chucky T, which like Kip Sabian hitting a move. And then they kissed, and then she got off the apron. And then Orange Cassidy got on the apron, and he took his jacket off, and he did the same thing. Now, Many people might think, well, let me just think about the finish. Let me talk about the finish. So then, Jimmy Havoc comes out from the crowd, and he gives Orange Cassidy this twisted DDT, which looked pretty nice. And then that distracted Chuck Taylor for Kip Sabian to roll him up. The ref was looking at Jimmy Havoc giving DDT to Orange Cassidy. Penelope Ford hit a Hurricane Rana on Chuck Taylor, and Kip Sabian rolled him up for the victory. Now, I said this a few times already. The match was very good. Number one point. I hope they don't use Penelope Ford as a woman who's going to get involved in every single match Kip Sabian is in to help him in so that he wins. I don't want to see that. They do the same thing. WWE does the same thing with Zelina Vega and Andrade. When Zelina Vega helps Andrade every single match he's in, I don't want to see that with Penelope Ford and Kip Sabian. Please don't do that. It's really, really annoying. Don't fall in the WWE line, please. And number two, the spot with Orange Cassidy. Yes, you guys think it was funny. I thought it was funny for a few seconds, but without an empty audience, without no audience, and we don't know how long we're not gonna have an audience for. We don't know how long we're gonna have an audience for. The Orange Cassidy gimmick does not work without an audience. I'm sorry. The Orange Cassidy gimmick relies 90% on crowd interactions. Just like the Otis and Dolph Ziggler storyline from WrestleMania, Orange Cassidy's character, 90% relies on fan interactions. Without fans, it's not as a special moment that Orange Cassidy does. If that spot, with Orange Cassidy going on the top rope, or going on the top apron, taking off his jacket, that probably would have gotten the biggest pop of the night. But without a crowd, you don't get that. So, that's all I'm going to say. And next week, we're getting a match on Dynamite between Jimmy Havoc and Orange Cassidy. So, I mean, we'll see how an Orange Cassidy match goes with no fans against Jimmy Havoc. Should be interesting. Shawn Spears versus a jobber. Again, I didn't even watch the match. If you blinked once, the match was over. Shawn Spears got the win, so good for him, I guess. Let me just check my tweets real quick, and then we'll talk about the main event of Jake Hager and Jon Moxley. Okay. Here we go, man. Jake Hager and Jon Moxley. They built this match up for weeks. I would say they've built this match ever since the Dynamite after Moxley won the World Championship and the Inner Circle powerbombed him through a table. They've been building to a Jake Hager Jon Moxley match ever since then. And they've been doing these video packages for Jon Moxley and Jake Hager, and they made it like a big fight feel, and it was a really hyped up match. And I loved it. I loved all the hype for it. I'm like, this is going to be really good. Jake Hager's not going to win, but he's going to put up a really good effort, and this is going to be a great no-holds-barred match. Get to the match. The match went over a half hour. It was insanely boring, in my opinion. I did not want to say that. I was hoping to come on here and say this was a great no-holds-barred match. These guys literally, beat the shit out of each other, which they did. But, weapons, all that. This match was insanely boring. They used a steel chair throughout the entire match. They used one weapon in a no-holds-barred match. Three things affected this match. Number one, the lack of weapons. One weapon in a no-holds-barred match does not cut it. It does not cut it. Number two, JR on commentary by himself was not a good idea. I would have put in somebody else with him. I would have put in Taz with JR. Taz on commentary with JR for this match, breaking down what's happening, would have been a great move in my opinion. JR should not have been there by himself. And number three, the lack of noise. The empty arena. This match really needed an audience. And there would have been pops during this match. I don't think this match would have been the same if this was in front of a live audience. I think we would have gotten a much more violent match, a much shorter match. These guys did not need to go over 30 minutes. You could have done something else to keep these guys under 30 minutes. But it would not have went 30 minutes. It would have not been boring in my opinion. And there would have been crowd investment in this because of the big build-up to the match. It's just, this match was very disappointing. You got Moxley and Hager, they're doing mat wrestling for the first 6 minutes, and then they go to commercial, and they're fighting on the outside, and Moxley has a figure four in between the rail, and Hager's selling it really good. So they're fighting around the stands, and then they go back on the floor, and Hager throws Moxley into some production cart, and then he throws him back into the ring, gets a chair, hits the chair on him. The chair was he hit and then at the end, Moxley hit Jake Hager with a paradigm shift onto the chair, and he retained the World Championship against Jake Hager. Like I said, unfortunately, this match was very, very boring, and out of all the hype for this match, AEW struck out on this match. We all usually say that in big matches like this, AEW hit a home run. AEW hit a home run on Cody and Chris Jericho at Full Gear. They hit a home run on Moxley and Omega. The big matches that they've put so much investment in. MJF and Cody's another one. Moxley and Jericho's another one. They put so much investment into Jon Moxley and Jake Hager. And this was a strikeout. And it happens. It happens. Not everything from AEW can we expect is perfect, but for the big build that this match got, I was very disappointed. And I'm sure most of the wrestling community is in the same boat as me. Now, Double or Nothing is still taking place on May 23rd, probably in front of no audience. So we got to deal with no audience big pay-per-view shows again. Awesome. What does Jon Moxley do at Double or Nothing now that he's done with Jake Hager? He beat him clean. I don't know. They could have originally done MJF, but MJF's home. AEW is not allowing anybody from New York or California to to go to tapings because they want them to stay at home. MJF's from New York. I don't know what they're going to do with the World Championship at Double or Nothing. It should be very interesting, but we'll see, man. We'll see. That's the AEW Dynamite review. This was a fine episode of Dynamite for what it was. It was fine, despite the Jon Moxley, Jake Hager, no holds barred match. That was Dynamite. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you haven't already, subscribe right here on the Big Fight Field channel. It's got up to 70 subscribers. 2 subscribers away from 70. The faster we get to 100, the better. Comment down below what you thought of this week's Dynamite. Did you think it was good, okay, or bad? Let me know down below. Like this video with a super kick. You can follow me on Twitter at Colin_Joseph. You can follow me on Instagram at Colin_Joseph. You can follow Eddie on Twitter at Eddie Mullen 515. And guys, we will break down the stressful day in the WWE, all the releases, why they did this, what's going on. We'll talk about it all tomorrow right here on the Big Fight Field channel. I'll try to get Eddie Mullins here with me tomorrow to talk about this as well. Guys, have a good night, guys, and stay safe.